Well, good evening. Kim Baker here with the Victim Survivor Conqueror Ministry. Come to you on this Tuesday evening on Facebook Live. We're glad to have you tonight. There we go. I think I've got everything up and running right. All right, before we get into tonight's lesson and study, if you would, as you log in on Facebook Live, if you would, please hit one of the buttons. The more people that respond to our videos, the more people Facebook allows to see them. Okay, so it would be a great help. Also, if you would like, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. And the last quick announcement is down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You will see where it says VSC Ministry. That is our website. You can go to our website and you can download this study material and have it on your computer. You can print it out and then you can follow along with us. If you would like. All right, so this is the second week of anger. Okay, anger, facing the fire within is what we're talking about. So, we'll start off with a question tonight. Okay, so. Wrath is burning anger is accompanied fire to do what? Rearing its ugly head. That means you have burning anger inside of you, okay? But along with that, what do we want to do when we get to that point? When we get to the point that we have burning inside of us, avenge. Yeah, we want to avenge what has happened to us. Okay, we want to see somebody pay. We want to see somebody pay for what has happened, don't we? Yeah, we often do. Okay, wrath often moves from the inner emotion of anger to the outward of anger. Okay. So probably up till this point, an inner emotion, it's been inside of you. But now it's gotten to the point where here it comes. It wants to express itself. It wants to make itself known. It wants to explode. So that is wrath. When we get to the point that we have wrath in us, we need it serious. Okay? All right. Now, think about yourself. Okay? I want you to think back to maybe somebody has said something to you similar to this about, that your anger could be considered wrath at times. So, okay. So, could your anger be considered wrath at times? If yes, why? Okay. If you think that your anger at times, and we're not saying all the time, but at times that it could be considered wrath. Why is that? Why do you think it would be considered that? Okay. It's not up on the screen, but what? Not only why would your anger be considered that, but what effect has it had? What effect has it had on your life? What effect has it had on maybe your spouse's life? What effect has it had on your children's lives? Okay. All right. Fury could be called what type of anger? Fury. What can fury be called? What type of fury be? Be free. Yes, fiery. Okay. Fury is so fierce that it destroys our common sense. Okay. Do you know somebody that their anger destroys their common sense at times? And again, it may not be all the time. It be some of the time. You know? Has anger ever affected your common sense? Would you say that anger has affected your sense at some point or another? Or would others say that your common sense has been affected by anger? Okay, and that's what I just got through asking you in a roundabout way. Rage is blazing anger resulting in a loss of what? Okay, all the way up to rage. Rage is blazing anger resulting in a loss of what? Self-control. Yeah. Yeah. Get to the point that rage takes over. Not only has affected our common sense, but it has affected our self-control. In other words, we are considered out of control now. If I've allowed the rage level, I am out of control. Has rage made you lose control? Okay. What did you lose control of? Okay. Can we lose things? Yeah, we can. Okay. What about our mouth? We can lose control of our mouth, can't we? Can we lose control of our mind? Yeah, in a roundabout way. That we get so consumed with the anger that we're dealing with that's all that we can focus on. That's all that we can talk about. That's all that we can show people is the rate. All right, now I get a lot of books and I get a lot of different answers to this question, but can anger be a good thing? Why or why not? Okay, so that's the question. Can anger be a good thing? And the answer is yes, it can be. Okay. Now, just bear with me a minute. We'll get there. Okay. And I'll show you. When we start getting angry, that should be a signal that something is wrong inside of us. So what we have to try and watch is that anger does not get out of control. Okay? All right. We talked about last week that, that did Jesus ever become angry? Did he ever become indigent? Yes, he did. He absolutely did. One of the situations is when the apostles would not allow the little children to come to him. He told them, don't stop them from coming to me. Okay? Was, and probably the most popular one that people would probably point out, the money changers in the temple. Okay? Where he goes out, braids a whip, goes in, turns in the money changers, turns over the tables, and runs the money changers out of the temple. Okay? Give an example of it being a good thing, an example of being a bad thing. Okay? Well, being a good thing is just like what we talked about with this. Okay? He was pro. Okay? Most of us, if we were to go sit down to whip, we probably would be considered in control of things. Okay? Maybe we might. I don't know. But, when anger points something out to you that is not fair, that is hurtful to someone, and it gives us an opportunity to maybe intervene in that situation, then that definitely can be a good thing. Now, and we're get to rage, fury, become fiery, and things like that, then that is a bad thing. That is a bad thing. Okay? Prolonged anger is what? What do you think prolonged anger is called? Prolonged anger. The simmering stew. The simmering stew. Yeah. The simmering stew is held in for a long time. Okay? When you cook a pot of stew, you cook it for a very long time to get it good and tender, don't you? Yeah. Now that works on stew, but not on anger. This anger is a result of a unforgiving heart towards a past offense and the offender. Okay? So, if you allow your anger to stew and to simmer, that's because of an unforgiving heart. Oh, I can forgive. I can forgive. Can you really? You may be able to forgive some things, but is forgiveness really in the forefront? No, not if you're allowing it to simmer like this. Okay, unforgiveness left unresolved eventually in resentment, bitterness, and it will ultimately scald close relationships. Have you had close relationships that has been scalded? It's that you're really not, you hadn't really been, you really not sure what happened. Why did me and me and Sarah quit talking? Okay. Could it be because of unforgiveness? According to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15, what will bitterness do to you? Okay. What will bitterness do to you? See to it that no one misses the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up, cause trouble, and defile many. Okay. Are you getting? Okay. So he's telling that when we allow anger to build up in us, then we could cause someone to miss the grace of God. See to it that no one misses the grace of God. Okay? So if you're allowing your anger to fester and to cause resentment and bitterness, that could cause somebody to miss the grace of God. Okay? Could be somebody in your life, and it's most likely talking about you. Yeah. Okay? When we allow resentment and bitterness to grow, if we're not careful, we will miss the grace of God in our life. Okay? So, how can we make sure that someone or that people don't miss the grace of God? By not allowing a bitter root to grow up. Because when a bitter root grows up, what happens? It causes trouble. Okay? When you allow resentment and bitterness to start growing inside of you, it's going to cause trouble. Okay? And when it starts causing trouble, it will defile many. Okay? It won't just affect one relationship. It won't just affect the relationship with whom you have that bitterness or resentment. Okay? Because if you let that bitter root grow up inside of you and take a deep root inside of you, that bitterness and that resentment will spread to other people. You will spread it to other people. It will spread to other relationships in your life. That's the reason why it says it will defile many. And that is, again, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15. Okay? Blank anger is the pressure cooker. Okay? Are you familiar with a pressure cooker? What a pressure cooker does? Cooks things pretty quick, real quick, don't it? Yeah. Builds up pressure, gets extremely hot. And when you open up the valve on the pressure cooker, what happens? There's a lot of steam for several minutes. When you open up that steam valve, it don't just go and it's gone, does it? No, it's just continually coming out. until it can be all emptied from the inside. The exact same way with your anger. That's the way your anger is. Okay? You may get angry at your left hand, but guess what? You're going to take it out on your right. Okay? You may be angry. You may have gotten angry with your boss, with a coworker, but guess what? You're probably going to take it out on your wife, your kids, the dog, the cat. Pressed down anger is the pressure cooker. Okay? Pressed down. It's anger that is denied or hidden anger, usually developing from fear of facing negative emotions. This kind of anger can create a deceitful heart and lead to untruthfulness with others. Okay? That is called pressed down anger. Okay? Failure to honestly confront and resolve angry feelings can result in self-pity, self-contempt, self-doubt, and it will ultimately sear close relationships. Excuse me. Provoked anger is the what? What do you think provoked anger is? It's called the short fuse. Okay. Would you consider yourself a short fuse? Would someone else consider you a short fuse? What about your wife, your husband? The short fuse is quick, impatient, instantly irritated, or incensed. A testy temper is often expressed using criticism or sarcasm under the guise of teasing, ultimately burning close relationships. Okay? So if you tend to be a short fuse, that goes to show that you are impatient and you get instantly irritated. And normally when people get to that point, then they either criticize or use sarcasm towards other people. Profuse anger is the blank blank. The volatile volcano. The volatile volcano, it is powerful, it's destructive, and hard to control. This way of releasing anger is characterized by contempt, violence, and abuse towards others, ultimately cremating close relationships. So what does Matthew chapter 5:22 say about someone that is angry with his brother? I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. But anyone who says, "You fool," will be in danger of the fire of hell. Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. Okay. Why do some people take their anger out on an innocent bystander or those who have nothing to do with the problem? Imagine after having a flat tire, the boss begins yelling at his employee, who in turn arrives home and yells at his wife, who then screams at her son, who in turn kicks the cat. This could be called the blame game. Ultimately, angry people who are afraid to confront those who hurt them will often pick targets they can safely overpower. Their easy victory inflates their sense of power, giving them a false sense of significance. Okay? So, yes. I believe that this is probably some of the biggest problems in marriages. Why? Because we're out in the public, we're around other people, we get hurt, people say things, people do things, and what happens? We're afraid to confront them over what happened, so what do? We go home and we take it out on our wife, who in turn then takes things out on the kids, and the kids in turn could take things out on animals, dogs and cat that's in the house. It's just a vicious cycle. Okay? That is one reason why that we've got to get to the point where we can recognize where our anger comes from, who it came from, who's causing the anger, and not be afraid to confront. Because if we do not confront them, that anger will become prolonged. We will become a short fuse. It will be pressed down. It will become a simmering stew. And what? What do? We hurt the people that we love the most. Does it make sense? It shouldn't be that way. You have to recognize where anger's coming from, what's caused it, and be able to confront it. Blank are known for misplacing their anger. Weaker, more vulnerable people. Okay? All right. What are we talking about? Yep, bullies. Okay? More often than not, bullying is a case of playing it safe. That is venting on someone who can't fight back. The bully's stored up anger generally comes from being abused by someone they feel powerless to confront. Okay? So guess what? If you're going home and taking out your anger on your wife or your husband, kids, or your animals, you're a bully. Okay? If that hurts, then we need to do something about it. Okay? But yeah, you're being a bully. 'Cause why? You're playing it safe. Coming home, instead of addressing the anger where it's really coming from, and coming home and taking it out on your wife or your husband that had nothing to do with it, that's nothing but a bully. Because what? You're venting. You're venting to someone that probably won't fight back. Okay? View our anger on those blank to them and those that are most vulnerable to them. Okay? So, who do you think? We're going to go ahead and do this one. So anyway, yeah. We spew out our anger on those that are closest to us. Almost all abusive adults were abused as children and grew up with the intense pressure of unresolved anger. When their anger ignites, for whatever reason, everyone around them feels the explosion and falls victim to their blistering lava-like anger. Can you relate to that? Do you understand what this is saying? When their anger ignites, for whatever reason, everyone around them feels the explosion and they fall victim to their blistering lava-like anger. Okay? All right. It's been about 30 minutes, and that's what we normally go, about 30 minutes on Tuesday night. We're going to stop right here with blank people generally carry a sizable amount of self-contempt and self-loathing. Okay? So we'll pick up here next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, as we start the third week of anger. Okay. And before we go, just a few quick announcements. As you would before you log off, would you please hit one of the buttons? Send us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And also down at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen where it says vscministry.com, that is our website. Go to our website. You can go there, and there is a spot that you can download this study material if you'd like to have a copy of it, and you can follow along with us there at your house then. Okay? All right. So next Tuesday night, we'll start the third week of anger. And God bless and have a great rest of your week.